Did Disney just take legal action against Rachael Zegler over the Snow White disaster? We all saw this coming, but no one expected it to go this far. The backlash, the box office flop, and now a possible lawsuit? You might be thinking, wait, how do we go from a movie announcement to a lawsuit? Well, buckle up because we're diving deep into this shocking turn of events that's got the whole internet buzzing. Let's just say Rachael Zegler has found herself in some serious hot water with the Mouse House. Before we dive into how things started unraveling, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you're into deep dives like this. We break down the biggest stories in entertainment without the fluff, just facts, receipts, and a bit of chaos. And trust me, you're gonna want to see how this one ends. Alright, let's set the stage for a second. It's 2021. Disney is excited. They're about to reboot Snow White, one of their most iconic classics. And this time, they're doing something different. They're casting Rachael Zegler, a relative newcomer at the time, to play the iconic princess. Now, let's be real, Disney's live-action remakes have always been a bit of a mixed bag. Some have been massive hits, hello The Lion King, and some have been, well, let's just say they didn't quite live up to the hype. Looking at you, Mulan remake.
I just mean that it's no longer 1937, and we absolutely wrote a Snow White that is
not going to be saved by the prince.
She's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love.
But this time, Disney was confident. They brought in a fresh face, and Rachael, with her powerhouse vocals from West Side Story, seemed like the perfect pick for the role. Plus, they were giving the classic Snow White story a modern twist. They were promising diversity, a stronger, more independent princess, and a fresh take on the whole damsel in distress trope. Sounds great, right? Disney was selling it hard. Now, here's where things started to get a little tricky. In interviews leading up to the film's release, Rachael didn't exactly toe the company line when it came to Snow White's legacy. She made it clear that she wasn't about to be the traditional wait for a prince to save me kind of princess. Rachael emphasized how her version of Snow White would be a modern, independent woman, one who didn't need a prince to complete her story.
For Snow White, it's coming to terms with finding herself and finding her inner voice and finding a sense of agency so that she can be a just ruler and a wonderful queen, because there's another one in town who's...
That's when the comments started stirring the pot. Disney, after all, has always been about romanticized fairy tale endings, with princesses waiting for their one true love to swoop in. But Rachael, on the other hand, was publicly rejecting this vision in favor of a more feminist, progressive take. She said things like, "I think Snow White is a beautiful story, but she doesn't need a prince to save her." Cue eye roll from fans of the original. Now, let's be clear. Some fans appreciated the attempt at modernizing the character. They liked the idea of a princess who wasn't just sitting around waiting for her happily ever after. But others? Well, they were not thrilled with the idea that Disney might be changing things too much. Fast forward to 2023. Snow White is finally released, and, well, let's just say things didn't go quite as planned for Disney. Critics were harsh. The film received negative reviews for a number of reasons. For one, many felt that the modernization of Snow White's character didn't exactly work in the context of a live-action fairy tale. While Rachael's portrayal of Snow White was undeniably strong, her interpretation didn't seem to match the whimsical, dreamlike tone that we typically expect from a Disney princess.
And you wonder why people are turning from this stuff in droves, right? Like that the original prince was stalking her. I don't even really remember what Snow White was about either.
The magic, charm, and innocence of the original story seemed lost, and the reviews reflected that. But that wasn't even the worst of it. The real problem? The box office numbers. Despite all the hype surrounding the film's release, Snow White didn't live up to expectations. In fact, it was a huge flop. After weeks of anticipation, the film couldn't even make a significant dent at the global box office. This was especially painful for Disney, given the amount of money they had invested into it. They had banked on this being one of their major hits, and it ended up underperforming in a big way. Social media reactions were, as expected, brutal. Fans felt betrayed by what they saw as a watered-down version of their beloved classic. The film's core audience, the ones who grew up watching Snow White, were not sold on the changes to the story or the character. And, as we all know, the internet doesn't hold back when it comes to criticizing big-budget films.
Oops, it took 3 seconds for Zegler to become a PR nightmare.
They don't know what merit is because they get paid whether they succeed or not.
Reviews flooded platforms like Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, where people roasted the film's new direction and its star. Now, here's where things get really wild. According to insider reports and leaked documents, Disney wasn't just disappointed by the film's poor reception, they were angry. And when Disney gets angry, they don't just throw shade, they go into damage control mode. Sources claim that Disney's legal team has started looking into taking legal action against Rachael Zegler. Now, why would Disney go this far? Well, apparently, they're blaming Rachel's public comments and the backlash she generated for part of the film's failure. Critics and audiences alike were divided, and Disney believes that her negative remarks about the traditional Snow White narrative may have hurt the movie's box office performance.
There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her. Yeah. Weird.
Now, to be clear, it's not uncommon for studios to take legal action in the wake of a film's failure, especially if there's a perception that an actor's behavior or comments contributed to the negative response. But here's the kicker. Disney is reportedly considering suing Rachael for defamation and breach of contract. They claim that her public statements, which were widely covered in the media, caused irreparable harm to the film's brand and Disney's reputation. To make matters worse, Disney apparently included clauses in Zegler's contract that required her to maintain a positive public image and represent the company's values. With her controversial comments about Snow White, Disney believes she violated those terms. If that's the case, the legal team may pursue financial compensation for damages caused by the film's poor performance. Now, let's talk about the real question here. What does this mean for Rachael Zegler's career? Well, if Disney actually moves forward with this lawsuit, it could be a game changer for Rachael. Hollywood is a small world, and when you get on the wrong side of a major studio like Disney, it can be hard to bounce back. Just ask actors who've been in similar situations before. A legal battle with Disney could harm her future prospects, especially in a town where maintaining good relationships with major studios is key to long-term success. Rachel's been relatively quiet about the legal drama, but she has made some pointed comments on her social media about the situation.
According to reports, Gal and Rachael got along during filming. It's afterwards that things took a turn.
Posted messages claiming that she's not responsible for the film's failure, and she's even hinted that she's ready to move on from Disney's control. While it's unclear whether she'll publicly fight back against the lawsuit, one thing's for sure: Rachel's future with Disney is uncertain at best. Disney goes through with the lawsuit, we could see her distancing herself from the studio and potentially seeking work with other production companies who may not want to get involved in the mess. But on the flip side, if she can weather the storm and come out on top, there could still be a future for her in Hollywood, albeit a bit more carefully navigated. Naturally, fans have had a field day with this drama. Let's be real, Hollywood gossip always gets the internet talking, but when it involves Disney, you know it's going viral. On Twitter, people have been debating everything from Rachel's comments to Disney's decision to go the legal route. Some fans think she's right to speak her truth and shouldn't be held responsible for a film that didn't perform well. Others, however, feel that Disney had every right to be upset and that Rachael should have been more careful with her words. And the memes? Oh boy. People have been making memes left and right, with some hilarious and brutal takes on both Disney's decisions and Rachel's public image. One Twitter user even joked, "Disney needs to sue her for that hairdo." It's clear that the internet is divided, but one thing's for sure: the drama is only just beginning. So here's the million-dollar question. Is Disney really going to follow through with a lawsuit against Rachael Zegler? Or is this just another public relations stunt designed to deflect attention from the film's failure? And if they do take legal action, what will this mean for Rachel's career in the long run? As always, we want to hear your thoughts. What do you think about Disney's move? Is it too harsh, or are they right to protect their brand? Let us know in the comments below. And as always, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss the next big celebrity scandal. We'll keep you updated as this drama unfolds. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time with more Hollywood tea.